Okay, let me know when you all can see my screen. Session 25. Okay, so in this session, we are going to see how to create swapping measures, swapping dimensions, and how to create sheet selector in Tableau. So how to swap measures and how to swap dimensions and how to create a sheet selector. So this we have seen using if-else statement. So today we are going to see with case statement. So, so I have connected to sample superstore data. So I'll remove everything, all the fields which are already inserted in this. And I will take sales and I will take subcategory here. Okay, so here I am able to see one particular information, subcategory wise sales. So instead of this, I want user to control this measure value or the dimension value. So that the user can see whatever measure he selects. So using parameter. So I'll create a parameter to select measure. Select measure and click on this as string and write it as list. And in the list, I will write sales and profit and say okay. So this is a parameter, show parameter. So here you can select sales and profit. So once the parameter is created, so we need to link this parameter with a calculation. So I'll create a calculation with a case statement, select measure, select measure calc. Okay, so I'll write a case statement, case, parameter name, select measure. So as we discussed earlier, parameter will be denoted with resembled with purple color. Let me just increase the resolution. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, so it will be resembled with purple color. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so the parameters are represented with purple color and case when the parameter, when it is sales. Okay, so when we select sales in the parameter, so I want to see then I want to see sum of sales. Okay, and when the parameter is profit, so this name has to exactly match with the whatever names that we have given in the parameter on the right side. So when it is profit, then sum of profit. And so this is the way where we can write case statements and say okay. So now I will replace this select sum of sales value with select measure calc which we have written. So now that it will have sales value and also it will have profit value. So now it will be toggled between these two values, sales and profit. So you can select profit and now you can see profit. And if you select sales, so you can see subcategory wise sales. Okay, so we can place this parameter in the title so that user knows what is the data that he is seeing. So subcategory wise, so we need to insert that parameter. What is the parameter name? Select measure. Say okay. Okay, so currently it is showing you subcategory wise sales. So whenever I make change in this parameter, so if I change this to profit, you can see it will change in the in the title as well. So click on this profit. So you can see that change. So subcategory wise profit. So if we change it here, subcategory wise sales. So all this information you can see it. So this is how we can create a parameter. So this is called as swap measures. Okay. So not only one measure or two measures, you can keep multiple measures in this. So let's say if you want to add one more measure, you can add and increase that calculation. So add one more line in the calculation, say edit, and when it is discount, then sum of discount. So this way, if you want to add more measures into the calculation, you can just add it. Okay, so if you click on the discount, it will show you discount values as well. So this way you can make use of the swap measures and swap. So now that I have created swap measures, now I will create swap dimensions. So let's say sales, and I will take subcategory in the column shelf, and I'll show the labels. Okay, so it's the same process. You need to right click on this and create parameter, and select string and select the list. Here you write subcategory, and let's say segment and category, you can say. Okay, so all these values you can give, and I'll write this as select dimension, and say okay. And you can write calculation by using this parameter select dimension. So whenever that select dimension is equals to subcategory, then subcategory from the data. So whatever is resembled as brown color, that is coming from the data file, from the sample superstore data source. And when it is category, then category column from the database. And when it is segment, then segment end. Okay, so this way we can create a swap dimension also. Select dimension calc. Okay, so now use this select dimension calc instead of this subcategory. Say okay. Select dimension calc. Okay, and provide this select dimension parameter over here. So now it is currently showing you for subcategory. And if you click on segment, so you will see for segment and category. If you select category, you will see for categories. So you can see that in the title. Okay, you can say, you can have that parameter here. The parameter name is select dimension parameter wise. So we are showing only sales. Okay, so you can see the title. So if I change it to subcategory, you can see the title is also getting changed to subcategory wise sales. And if you click on segment, you can see it is changed to segment wise sales. And same for category, you can see that changing. So this is about swap dimensions. Okay, so now that we have seen separately for swap measures and swap dimension, so now I will create uh, both together. So I will use this select dimension calc, and I will also use select measure calc. Okay, and I will also use these parameters together. Show this parameter and show this parameter. And in the title also, I will write select I mean select dimension wise, select measure, say okay. So you can see both. So category wise discount I'm showing. So whatever it is selected here. So if I want to see subcategory wise discount or subcategory wise sales, so you can see that information in the title as well. Okay, so user will understand which measure we are showing and which dimension we are showing. Swap measures and swap dimensions. So this is how we can create swap measures and swap dimensions. And now we will see how to create a sheet selector. Okay, so for that I will create a do not chart. So I'll take a region and I'll take sales and I'll click on pie chart, make it entire view. And so this is the, we need to use workaround for making a do not chart. So as we discussed earlier, so I'm just showing you uh, on how to do this. So we will get two accesses. So where you will get two marks card here to your left side. Okay, so each and every individual pie chart you can change accordingly. So as we need to create a do not chart, so you make one pie chart as a circle. So to remove everything from this from the one pie chart and make a dual axis and increase the sizes. Okay, so make it look like a do not chart and make inside color as blank. Yeah. So this is my do not chart. Do not chart. And I'll create a bar chart. Sales. Or let me create a chart with blended axis. So to create blended axis, we need to have two measures or more than one measure you can take. So this is basically created with measure names and measure values. Okay, so I'll also take one subcategory. Okay, so I have taken this and click on this show me. So click on this side by side bar chart. So it will automatically create a blended axis chart for you. So this way we can see the data and make it as entire view, okay, so that you can see bars clearly and show the title on top or show the label on top of this bars. So this way we can create a blended axis chart where blue represents profit, sales represents, orange represents sales. So this is called as color legend. So with the colors, we can identify what is the measure name and all. So that's how we can create this blended axis. And now I'll create a different chart. I'll take sales and I'll take subcategory itself. And I will take one more profit. So where I will create two different types of graphs. So here profit I have bar chart. So you can see whenever you put two measures in the row shelf or column shelf, you will get two marks cards. So where you can edit for each and every measure. So here I want to show, let's say I want to show based on shape or I will show area. Okay, area and I want to color it based on profit. Okay, or I can put it subcategory. Okay, so now I have area and this one I will put it as let's take circles. And I want to see each and every subcategory with a different color. Okay, and I will combine these two charts by doing a dual axis. Okay, so the area chart which is showing for profit, and the bubbles are for this sum of sales. So this way I can represent the values and all. And without having two axes, you can do a synchronized axis. So if you see, sales is not in sync with the profit values. Okay, so that's the reason I'll just make it as a sync axis. So that's why I will make it as a sync axis, and then I will remove one of the header. So as we have same headers, one on left side and the other one on right side. So you can just remove one show header. So you can right click on the axis and then untick this show header, so that you can see sum of sales. So this is, you can say, combinational chart. Combinational chart. Okay, so I have created these three different types of charts to explain you about how we can create a sheet selector. So in sheet selector, I'll create a parameter. So I'll name this as sheet selector. Sheet selector, and the same process. I will create string and list, and I'll write do not chart and blended axis and combinational chart. Okay, so now that I have this parameter, show parameter, so all these values are there. So based on the selection, I want to see the chart in the dashboard. So I'll keep this in a calculation field. Okay, so sheet selector calc. So sheet selector, say okay, put sheet select calc in the filters, and type in custom value list. So write whatever is the chart name, write the proper name of that chart in this list. So this is do not chart. So whenever do not chart is selected, I want to see do not chart. So just write that particular sheet names in that filter. So do the same for blended axis. Take that sheet selector calc and put it in the filter. Go to custom value list and write the name of that worksheet, which is blended axis. So this name has to match with the whatever name that we have written in the parameter. So I'm just writing it, and go to combination chart, pick the sheet selector calc, and go to custom value list, write same the whatever is the name of this sheet. So this is combinational chart. Thus I will write as combinational chart and say okay. Okay, so now I will put this in the dashboard. So I'll take this one and make it automatic. So if I make it automatic, this is a space where user can see. So I want to increase height and width. So it will fit to my screen's height and width. So I'll take this donut chart. Okay, I'll hide this headers. Go to format, lines, remove zero lines. Okay, so this is one chart. So I don't want to show the titles, just hide it. And I'll put the blended axis and hide the title. So we have discussed about these containers. So here is the place where we can make use of containers. See, I have created this blended axis. Even there is no chart in this blended axis sheet, it is still taking the same space. Okay, so I don't want it to take the entire space. So what I will do is, so I will create a container. So I'll take a container and drop these sheets in the container. So whenever you want to drag something into container, hold shift and drag into this container and put it in the container. Make it floating so that it will come out of this tiled mode. and hold shift and put it in the container. So whenever it is getting highlighted, so you can leave it there. So it will be fitted into that container. See, it is already fitted as there is no data in that. So yeah, so as there is no data in the blended axis, so it got uh, so it is not showing anything. So I'll put combinational chart also in this, and I will remove the title and select vertical container and put it in this. Yeah. So whenever I select, whenever I want to see, so I'll click on this. So if I click on blended axis, I should be able to see blended axis. And when I click on this combinational chart, I should be able to see combinational chart. Yeah, so this is the way where we can make use of these things. So yeah, so that's how we can create a sheet selector. Sheet selector. Yeah. So click on these options, right click on this and select unselect this fixed height. Yeah. So this way we can see whatever sheet that we have selected. And now I'll just take a pause. So if you have any questions in swap dimensions or swap measures or in sheet selector. Okay. Sandeep, can you tell me how it is important to create this swap dimensions? So how many charts or how many sheets we can reduce by using swap measures and swap dimensions? Yeah, correct. So, so if you see in this parameter, so currently I have subcategory by sales. Okay. So subcategory, I can show three things: sales, profit, discount. And again, segment, I can show three things: sales, profit, discount. So it is 3 into 3. So I can show 9 different charts in one single sheet. So that's how we can make it. And now I'll put this charts in dashboard. I'll make it automatic. And I'll put swap dimensions measures. Swap measures and dimensions. And whenever you drag, so related parameters will come into the dashboard. And I also want to show title as well. Title, make it center. So whatever is the dashboard name, it will come as title. I'll write the name as swap, or you can just sheet selectors. Sheet selectors. Any questions? Yeah. Okay, so sheet selector is something like where you want to see the sheet that you have selected. So if user want to see this blend, let's say donut chart. So you should be able to click on donut chart and he will see the donut chart. But he want to see a different chart. So we can give him the access to see a different chart by clicking on blended access. So like this, we can give access to the user. And if he wants to see combinational chart, so you can see that. So how we have done this is by creating a calculation, parameter as similar to what we have done for the swap dimension and swap measure. So this is the calculation that we have written, this parameter we have created. So these are the names that you need to remember, you need to use while creating the calculation field. So the one thing it is different is here we need to keep that in the filters. And so the calculation that I have written, so it's just the parameter. So I have not written any case statement or if else statement here. So I have taken only the sheet selector and I'm using the selection by filters. So whatever is the sheet name and the custom value list, I'm writing that sheet name. So combinational chart. So whenever in the parameter I want to see combinational chart, so that it will be enabled. So you need to write whatever is the chart name here. So combinational chart, I have written combinational chart. In blended axis, I have written blended axis. In donut chart, I have written donut chart. So that it should match with the parameter. So here it is selected as combinational chart. So that's why you don't see this donut chart. Why? Because it's not matching with the parameter. So that's why it is not showing. And if you go to this thing, and you will be able to see that. Select containers. I'll just make it floating. I'll just remove the borders. Go to format, go to lines. So these are some row dividers and column dividers which you can remove, which are not necessary. Let's okay. So this is how we can make a sheet selector, and whenever this selected by user, they will be able to see the complete charts, blended axis and combination chart. You can see that, and select entire container and put it in the worksheet. So this way we can see the entire data. And let me remove this chart. And when I say blended axis, you can see, yeah. So do not chart has some issue. So it is not taking the right thing. So let me change this to a pie chart. Okay, let me change this to pie chart. Sheet selector. Hide the title. Okay, and we make it as donut chart. Go to donut chart and reduce the size. Yeah, so okay, so this way you can see the suite entire screen. Okay, whenever that particular chart is selected, so that particular chart you can see it in the entire view. And we can also add all option. So in parameter we can also add. Can someone go on mute? Kishore, can you go on mute? So if I select sheet selector and say edit, and we can also add all button, all option. So whenever this all option is selected, all sheets will appear. For that, what you need to do is in custom value list, you need to add that all in all the worksheets. Say okay. And blended axis also, you need to write all. Say okay. In combination chart also, you need to add all. Say okay. So this is the way where we can create all option. Okay, user can also see. So when I click on this, excuse me. So all the sheets will be visible like this. And fix, okay. Select container, select vertical container, and you can say distribute evenly. So there is option called distribute contents evenly, so that it will distribute evenly. So if you distribute evenly, so only that particular space will be enabled for that worksheet. And every time it will come in that location only. So this is the way where we can make use of sheet selector. Okay, so now I will keep this in single dashboard. Uh, so let me, okay, so I'll use this worksheets. I'll take vertical container. Okay, so vertical container, and I'll put do not chart, and I'll put blended axis, and I'll put combinational chart. Okay, and I'll select the container again, and I'll put the container below this one, and I'll select do not chart. Hide the titles. Hide the titles here. Yeah. Okay, so this way we can make use of all these things. So here you can see 9 different charts where you select a subcategory. You can see subcategory wise sales that you can see on the top of the title as well. Subcategory wise sales, and when you select the profit, subcategory wise profit. This thing you can do for swap measures and dimensions. And then below you can see this different charts. So it is occupying the space. So it will remove the existing one and it will show you the other ones. So you can make this, remove that. Yeah. And so these are color legends. And this is the parameter for this chart. And these two are the parameters for this chart. And we can make some designs and all. So remember one thing. So whenever you make any charts, uh, it depends on us on how to create the charts, if you want to put the borders or if you don't want to put the borders. So it's completely depending on us. And but remember to keep light color background. So don't keep any dark color backgrounds in your dashboard while making any dashboard. So try to maintain light colors. So I'm just putting some borders for each and every tab. So just select that and go to layout and click on border and select some light color borders. So I'm just selecting some light color borders. Here I will select this one. Yeah. So this way you can make a chart. It's a complete workbook that, I mean, dashboard that you can prepare and you can control with this parameters. So this way user will also have access to change how he want to see the dashboards. So subcategory wise, category wise, these things, and he can also change the worksheets he want to see instead of going into different dashboard. So he can control it here itself. So this way we can make different charts altogether. Okay, so this is about swap dimensions and swap measures. Any questions? Yeah, Lakshman. Hello. Mhm. So here we are not changing the entire sheet. So here we have made different worksheets for sheet selectors. So you can make different types of charts. Like you have made a line chart in one, and you have made blended axis and some combination charts you have prepared and a pie chart. But in this case, we are not changing the chart. So I'm using bar chart. So only the that bar chart. So I'm changing the measure values and dimensional values in that. So I'm not changing the type of chart. In that, it is not possible. So if it is a line chart, or if it is a blended axis, or if it is something, so I'm just changing the values in that chart. I'm not changing the entire chart. So if you see in do not chart or blended axis, so I'm changing the entire worksheet. So if you see this swap measures and dimensions, so I have created these charts to explain these things, but I don't need these ones. So it is only one chart where it covers 9 different types of information. Category wise, sales profit discount. Subcategory wise, sales profit discount. Segment wise, sales profit discount. So 3 into 3, 9 types of charts. You can, 9 types of information you can see in one type of bar chart. So for every combination, you can see bar chart only. So, but in case of sheet selector, it's a different sheets altogether. We are swapping between these sheets. But swap measures and dimensions, it is reducing the number of worksheets. Otherwise, you might need to end up creating 9 different worksheets in this case. So that's the importance. Is it clear? Okay, so now we'll talk about some date functions. Okay, so let's go to create and go to date. So in yesterday's session, we have discussed about date at, date diff, and date name. And also we have created date parse function. So in all these date functions, date parse function is very much important. Why? Because sometimes in database, or in when you connect to Oracle, or when you connect to any flat files, so you might not be getting the date format. So in date format, we'll have lot of options. So if you have something in date format, you can do this drill downs. Here you can drill down to quarter, quarter you can drill down to month, month you can drill down to day. Like this, you can make some drill downs. And in filters also, you will see a lot of options. You can filter on years, you can filter on quarters. All these options will be available in date format. So if the date column is not in date format, then you need to use date parse function. So, okay, so that we have discussed yesterday. So let me take another example. So let's create a date in a different format today. So can anyone tell me some different format, or whatever format you want to see data? So, yeah, okay. Jan 2022. Yeah. Okay, so I will give this thing in the for every date. Okay, I'll write Feb 2023 and March 2023, April 2023, and I'll copy the same. Okay, so this is some format, some random format I'm just creating, and I'll save this file, and I'll connect this to an Excel. So go to this connect to and click on Microsoft Excel and click on basic Excel. Okay, so now I'm connecting to that sheet. Let's remove this. Okay, so you can see this date is coming, and you see usually date will be resembled with a calendar symbol. So in this case, it is not showing with a calendar symbol. Why? Because it is not in the date format. So go to sheet 5. So I'll show you how the date format will be. If you go to sample superstore and click on this, so usually if the date is entered in this format, like dash dd dash 20 y. So if you have date in this format, then only Tableau will understand that it is a date, and it will assign a icon like calendar and calendar with watch symbol. So all this can be done. I mean, Tableau will automatically identify if you have date in the date format. But in our case, so I have given it as a string. So what I have given, so I have given it as a string. So I have entered manually. So I have typed this thing called like a text value. So Tableau is considering it as a text value. So Tableau doesn't know it is a date. So now we need to create a calculation using date parse. Okay, so we need to tell Tableau that this is a date column, but which is in a different format. Okay, so we need to mention what is the format of that date which is there in the database. So it's basically MMM, no spaces, YYY. So this is the format that is there in the database that we received. So this thing and which column it is, which is date column. Okay, so this date column is in this format. So you're telling Tableau that this date column is in this format, convert it to date. So this will convert it to date and say okay. Now you can use that date parse as a date column and make it as month. Let's see whether it is matching or not after creating. Okay, April 2023, February 2023, January 2022. Okay, so this date parse column, now I can do drill down. So you can see the difference here. So when date is in string format or whenever date is in text format, so you don't have options to drill down. So you only have it as a text. So whenever we converted it to date format, then you have this drill down option. You can drill down from year to quarter, quarter to month, month to day, like this. And you can also use this for filters. Okay, so you can use years filters, quarters filters, and everything. What happens when you use normal date column? So you will get normal filter where you can manually select these things. You can't filter years. Years will not be combined together, or months cannot be combined together. So all these things we can't do in text format. So whenever you have date, you need to convert it to date format by using date pass function. So that's about date pass. And now we'll see other functions. So is date. So Tableau will check the whether the date is in date format or not. So let's put is date, and I'll take date column. It's calculation 1. Say okay. Okay. So we are getting this thing from, let's say, from data. Okay, so Jan 22, Feb 23, this is actually date for us. But when I will ask Tableau to check this thing. So so this is the condition where we can check whether the date is in date format or not. Okay, so this way we can check it. So isDate is a function. So to check whether the date is in right format or not. So I will tell you how this function works. So let's take real dates actually. Real dates. So I will enter dates in date format. So now Tableau will understand it's a date. 0102 2023 and 020202 2024. So like this, I have data. And now I will enter something which is wrong, which is not a proper date. Okay, so this type of date won't exist. So Tableau will consider these as dates, but not this as dates. Even Excel is also not taking it as a date. So I will save this file and go to this and refresh this one. And I'll get this real dates. Okay, so Tableau didn't identify it as a date. Why? Because we have entered some random value here. So if you have, let's say 02, 03. Okay, so now it will identify as a date. Just refresh. So you can see the ABC symbol here. So for real dates, you see ABC dates. So when I refresh, I have entered actual data over there. So let's refresh. Okay. Okay, let me save that file. And now do a refresh. Let me delete. Let me connect once again. Okay, so if it is not taking it as date, so you can change it to date. So just click on this. Any questions? Okay, so this way we can make use of, we can change it to a date. So this, make it discrete. Okay, so we can see these dates. And let's say if I enter something wrong, let's say here if I enter 31 and 31, which is not a proper date, and save this file. And let's refresh this Excel. Okay, so only that date which I entered wrongly is not considering, Tableau is not considering that as a normal date. So that's how, okay, Tableau identifies only whichever is in date format. Other than that, it will consider as nulls. So let's make use of this and make it as day again. Let's click, yeah. So this is how we can see it. Otherwise, if you have this in normal string format and put this date, okay, you can see all these things. Now let's see whether this is in date format or not. We'll check. So we'll use this real dates thing, which is in string. So I want to see the date which is coming from the database, whether it is in proper date format or not. Kishore, do you have any questions? Hello? Okay. Say okay, and calculation one, I will use this calculation one. Okay, so wherever it is in date format, in proper date format, so there it will show as true. And wherever it is not in a proper date format, it will show as false. So that's how we can make use of this isDate function. Okay, and now we will see two other functions which are very important. So there is a function called today function, where it will show today's date. So just click on this and click on day and click on discrete. Show it in the text. Okay, so it will show you today's date, which is 14th May 2023. So this we can use it for multiple different ways where you want to compare today's date with the date which is there in the database. So let's say if you want to compare order dates, if you want to find out date diff of today's date with order date, and that you want to compare with the days. So you need to mention the date part. So calculation 4. Click on this and use order date and click on day and make it as discrete and write today's calculation today. Okay, so you can see the order made date and today's date. So there are so first order made on 1227 days back. So those information also you can compare with today's date. So that's how we can see we make use of today. And there is also one option where you can create a calculation for now. So today will have only today's date. Okay, now function will have with time as well. So whatever is the time right now, so it will show you time as well. So 14/5/2023, 23:56, which is the time right now. So it will show that time. And you need to make use as more and click on second and click on discrete. Put it in the text and drag it like this. Okay, so you can see exact time also. So this also we can make use wherever we are having date and time in the data. So if you want to know the exact time difference and all, so then we can make use of this now function. So that we have discussed about today function, now function, and also date parts, which is very important function. And we will also discuss about another function, which is max and min. So max and min is nothing but whatever is the maximum date. So it will show us. So let's say, let's select day and make it as discrete. Okay. Sandeep, can you tell me what is the maximum date in this? Ravita, can you tell me what is the maximum date in this? So whatever is the maximum that will, sorry. ఇందులో ఏది ఎక్కువ పెద్దది? What is the biggest? Yeah, 30 December 2023. Yes. And minimum date will be the starting number, which is 3rd January, 3rd January 2020. Yeah. So you can also directly click on this and you can select maximum. So that you see 30 December 2023. And when you select minimum, you can see 3/1/2020. So it's basically the minimum order date and the maximum order date. To know that, we can use max and min functions here. So yeah, so with that, we have completed this swap measures, swap dimensions, and how to create sheet selectors, all this. So with that, we have completed 25th session. So I'll just take a pause so that if you guys have any questions, you can ask. Okay, so hope everything is clear. So we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you all for joining.